Hi there. Today I'm going to share with you a great message coding system that's called the Playfair Cipher. And now this coding system uses this 5x5 table to list the letters of the alphabet, and then with your message then you pair up the letters in your message. Use this table to create a coded message that's very hard to crack. Now the first step then is to complete the table, and then we're using the letters of the alphabet. We're going to use each letter only once, and it's good to start off with some sort of word or phrase because that makes the table unique, and you'll see that when I complete the table. So what I'm going to do is the word or phrase I'm going to use is how to solve puzzles, which is my channel name. So I'd list H-O-W-T. Now the next letter is O, but I've already used O, so I can't use the same letter twice. So I'll move on to the next letter, which is how to solve puzzles. Now the O of solve has already been used there, so I'll move on to the L, the V, and the E for solve, and then puzzles, P-U-Z, but I've already used the Z, the L, and the E, and the S, so that's the end of how to solve puzzles. And then for the rest of the table then, I just fill it in with the rest of the alphabet in alphabetical order. And because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, 25 spaces on the table, then you just need to leave out one letter, which is usually J. Okay, so I go A, B, C, and D because those letters haven't been used before. E has, so I jump to F, G, H has been used, so I go to I, skip J, K, M, L's already been used, N, Q, R, X, and Y. So all those other letters that I've skipped there have already been used further up in this 5x5 table. So then the next step then is obviously you create your coded message, and then what we need to do there is to pair up every sort of two letters. So F, R, E, E, D, O, M, O, N, F, R, I, D, A, and then Y needs a letter to pair up. And so when we get double letters, we've got double E, what we do there is we pair those with Z. EZ, EZ, and where we've got one letter by itself, then we pair that with Z as well. And then what we do is we look for those letters in the table and then start to write out our coded message. So we have F and we have R there. Yep, they create this sort of a rectangle. And if you look at the rectangle rule, if two letters from the code create a rectangle, then select the replacement letters from the same row and opposite corners. So same row, F becomes I, and then R becomes N. So that's, I took it right there, I and N. FR becomes I and N. I might write it there actually. I and N. And so that F becomes I, F and R create that rectangle, F becomes I and R becomes N. And then EZ create another rectangle, so E becomes L and Z becomes B. LB, and got another EZ there, so that's going to be LB. DO, there we go, DO, there we go, that creates that rectangle, so that becomes A and S for DO, and just keep working through the table. MO becomes G and S. NF, okay, now this is where NF are in the same column, so we go to the column rule, and the column rule is if two letters from the code create a column, then select the letter below and wrap to the top of the column if necessary. So we've got N. So N, there's no letter below it, so we go to the top. So N becomes H, and then F, drop it down to become N is the next one. R-I, oh there we go, another column for R and I. So R becomes W, and I becomes R because you're going down the column. D-A, oh there's a row. So with the row rule, that's your last rule. If two letters from the code create a row, then select the letter to the right and wrap to the top of the row if necessary, or the beginning of the row. So D becomes Z. Yep, and A becomes B. ZB, and the last one, YZ. YZ comes back to creating a rectangle again, so Y becomes N, and Z becomes D. Okay, so there we go, that's our coded message. And then what we do down here then is that we break this up into the final message, and we do is every 5 letters, just counting through 5, we write that as if it's a word. So I'll just cross that out, and it becomes, so the final message then is I-N-L-B-L, and then space, and then B-A-S-G-S, H-N-W-R-Z, and then finally B-N-D, and that's your final coded message. So with this table then, the word or phrase that you use at the beginning of the table then makes this table unique. It makes the placement of the letters in the table unique. So you need to know the word or phrase to create the table, and whoever receives your message needs to know the word or phrase to create their own table, to uncode that message and make it a readable code. So because only you know the word or phrase, or the receiver knows the word or phrase, then it makes that table unique to yourself and the receiver. And it makes this code then very hard to crack. Okay, well I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.